How likely are you to be attacked by a shark while enjoying a swim in the ocean? Now that's a question that might have crossed your mind at least once before diving into the deep blue. The idea of a shark attack is indeed terrifying, but how often does it actually happen? Let's take a moment to dive into the reality of these incidents. Shark attacks make for sensational headlines, but the truth of the matter is they're far less common than you might think. In fact, you're more likely to be struck by lightning, bitten by a dog, or even injured by a room's furniture than to come face to face with a shark while swimming. According to marine biologists globally, there are only about 75 shark attacks reported each year, and a mere 10% of those result in a fatality. To put that into perspective, that's less than 10 lives lost to these creatures of the deep annually worldwide. Why is this number so surprisingly low? Well, we aren't exactly a shark's preferred meal. They typically feed on smaller marine animals, and humans are often mistaken for seals or other prey. A majority of attacks are cases of mistaken identity, with the shark quickly realizing its error and releasing its victim. But let's not sugarcoat the reality. Shark attacks, while rare, do occur, and they can be devastating. To understand this better, we've invited someone who has experienced this terror firsthand. Their story, while chilling, is also a testament to human resilience and the will to survive. This individual's encounter with a shark, while enjoying a swim, will provide us with invaluable insight into how these events unfold and how one might react when faced with such an ordeal. Despite the odds, shark attacks do happen, as our first guest can sadly attest. But what's the best response in such a situation? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this topic, shedding light on the behavior of sharks and sharing tips on how to avoid and survive a shark attack. Surviving a shark attack is a tale few can tell. Today we have someone who lived to share their story. Our survivor's tale begins on a summer's day. The sun high in the sky, the ocean's surface shimmering with a deceptive calmness. An ordinary day became extraordinary in the blink of an eye, when the vastness of the sea revealed its most feared inhabitant, a shark. Our survivor recalls the initial encounter with a mix of terror and fascination. The shark, a creature of immense power and primal instinct, was not the mindless man-eater of Hollywood lore, but an animal in its natural habitat. The moment was surreal, a chilling dance between man and beast beneath the waves. Their immediate response was a testament to human instinct and survival. With adrenaline pumping, they remembered a vital piece of advice: do not panic. They stood their ground, or rather held their water, making themselves as big as possible, maintaining eye contact and slowly backing away. The shark, perhaps startled by this display, decided to retreat, but not before leaving a mark, a physical reminder of the encounter. The physical wounds healed over time, but the psychological scars ran deeper. Nightmares of the encounter, a newfound fear of the ocean, and the constant reminder of the shark's bite were battles they had to fight daily. Yet they found strength in their ordeal. They channeled their fears into learning more about sharks, advocating for their conservation, and educating others on coexisting with these misunderstood creatures. Our survivor is not a victim, but a beacon of human spirit and determination. They faced a creature that has stirred fear in humans for centuries and emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate. Their tale is not one of horror, but of survival, resilience, and respect for the natural world. It serves as a reminder that we are visitors in the ocean, a world that does not belong to us, but to the creatures that call it home. A harrowing experience indeed, but what can we learn from this? To understand how to react in an encounter, we need to first understand the shark itself. Sharks, fascinating and often misunderstood creatures, are not the mindless predators they're often portrayed to be. Rather, they're curious animals driven by instincts just like any other living species. Let's hear from a marine biologist who dedicates his work to unlocking the secrets of shark behavior. Contrary to popular belief, sharks don't typically prey on humans. In fact, they often mistake us for their usual food source, seals or sea turtles. It's a case of mistaken identity, if you will. The majority of shark attacks happen in murky waters where visibility is low. Sharks rely heavily on their senses, especially their sense of smell and electroreception, a unique ability to detect electrical signals from other creatures. If they feel a movement or sense a heartbeat, they might investigate, leading to what we perceive as an attack. So, what are the signs of an impending shark attack? Well, sharks tend to circle or follow their prey before making a move. If you notice a shark circling or following you, it's a sign that the shark is curious and possibly contemplating an interaction. Other signs include rapid changes in direction or speed, or a hunchbacked posture with pectoral fins pointed down. And how should we react? The most important rule is not to panic. Panicked movements can attract the shark's attention even more. Instead, maintain a calm demeanor, keep your eyes on the shark, and slowly back away towards the shore or your boat. If the shark comes too close, use whatever you have to fend it off. Aim for the sensitive areas like the eyes or gills. Remember, sharks are not villains. They're just another species trying to survive in the vast ocean. Our fear of them often comes from a lack of understanding. By learning about their behavior, we can navigate their world with more confidence and respect. So it's not about us or them, but understanding and respect. Let's delve into some survival tips. Knowledge is power. Knowing what to do in a shark encounter can make all the difference. When it comes to avoiding the unwanted attention of these marine predators, certain precautions can be taken. Sharks are most active during dusk and dawn, so it's wise to avoid swimming during these times. Also, sharks are more likely to be found in certain areas, such as near sandbars and drop-offs, where their prey is abundant. So if you're out for a leisurely swim or catching waves, it's best to steer clear of these hotspots. Now let's say you find yourself in the unfortunate situation of coming face to face with a shark. What then? The first rule is to stay calm. Yes, it's easier said than done, but remember that erratic movements can trigger a shark's predatory instincts. Eye contact is crucial. Sharks have a natural aversion to facing their prey head-on and tend to attack from behind or the side. So keep the shark in your line of sight at all times. Slowly back away without turning your back to the creature. If a shark appears intent on attack, use any available object as a weapon. Aim for the shark's most sensitive areas, the eyes, gills, and the tip of its snout. While this might seem counterintuitive, remember that your survival may depend on it. In the event of a bite, try to stop the bleeding as quickly as possible. Once you've reached safety, seek immediate medical attention, even if the wounds appear minor. Shark bites can lead to serious infections if not properly treated. It's also essential to remember that not all sharks pose a threat to humans. Out of over 400 species, only a handful have been involved in attacks on humans. Sharks are, for the most part, curious creatures that prefer to keep their distance unless provoked or threatened. So, while the thought of a shark encounter can be terrifying, it's important to remember that these events are extremely rare. With the right knowledge, precautions and response strategies, you can significantly reduce your risk and increase your chances of survival. These tips could be the difference between life and death in the unlikely event of a shark encounter. Sharks are not the mindless killers they're often portrayed as. The reality is that they are complex creatures with intricate behaviors and roles within their ecosystems. Understanding and respecting these magnificent creatures is not just crucial for our safety, but also for the health of our oceans. Our fear of sharks, often amplified by sensationalized media and cinema, can overshadow the fact that these creatures are, in many ways, more threatened by us than we are by them. Overfishing, habitat loss, and climate change are all human-driven factors pushing many species of sharks towards extinction. So, how can we contribute to shark conservation? Well, there are several ways. For starters, we can make informed choices about the seafood we consume. Opting for sustainably sourced seafood can reduce the impact of overfishing, a leading cause of shark population decline. We can also support legislation that protects sharks and their habitats. This includes laws that ban shark finning, a practice that kills millions of sharks each year for their fins. By voicing our support for such measures, we can encourage policymakers to prioritize the well-being of these apex predators. Education is another powerful tool for conservation. By learning more about sharks and sharing that knowledge with others, we can help dispel the myths that fuel fear and misunderstanding. Remember, knowledge is power. Lastly, we can support organizations dedicated to shark conservation. These groups conduct vital research, advocate for policy changes, and work on the ground to protect sharks and their habitats. As we navigate the waters, whether for leisure or work, let's remember the words of our survivor and marine biologist. They've shown us that understanding, respect, and preparedness can go a long way in ensuring our safety and that of the sharks. In closing, let's not forget that our relationship with sharks doesn't have to be one of fear and avoidance. Instead, it can be one of mutual respect and coexistence. Remember, the ocean is their home, and we're just visitors. Stay safe, stay informed, and respect our marine life.